Well, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the world around you right now, but here's the truth. The defensiveness is a way of life in this country. Like one person says something and then everyone gets super offended like that. Whether we're getting offended for ourselves, we get offended for somebody else, we are always on the defense, it seems like. We often fear the opinions of others and feel like we have to get defensive. I think that's why we're so offended so easily, is because we fear the opinions of others. And it's often really hard to enjoy other people and to do what we know we're supposed to do, what we've been called to by God to do in this life, when we're trying so hard to please others and live up to their standards. And instead of being confident in who God has made us to be, we often get defensive. We often get defensive. There's this amazing and terrifying bird it's in the Antarctic water. It lives down south. It's called a giant petrel. It looks a little bit like this, or this. It's a bloody bird. It's aggressive bird. It's actually this terrifying bird. It's an animal that you don't want to cross. It's an animal you don't want to be around, and it has this very unique defense mechanism. When it feels attacked, it actually projectile vomits on its attackers. That's interesting. I mean, because it reminds me a lot of what we do when we're feeling attacked. It reminds me of a lot of what we're like sometimes as humans when we feel like we're on the defensive, right? In our defensive responses, we go all petrol on our attackers. We verbally vomit wrath right into their faces. And if we're forceful enough, perhaps we'll knock somebody off balance. This is an interesting thing about the petrel. I've actually seen it projectile vomit at an emperor penguin and knock it over. It's amazing to watch, but the reality is we do that sometimes. But what if we didn't have to fear the opinions of others? What if you didn't have to get super defensive? What if you were actually free to enjoy other people as fellow image bearers of God, as fellow creations, as fellow humans? What if you're actually able to live for the things God made you to live for without ever having to feel defensive? Check this out. This is in 1 John chapter 3, verse 21. Dear friends, if our hearts do not condemn us, then we have confidence before God. If our hearts do not condemn us, if we don't feel guilty about our own actions or our own shortcomings as we try to live up to the standards of other people, we can actually feel free to live with confidence. And especially when it comes to your relationship with God, if you have a clear conscience with God, if you're constantly confessing your sin and you're going to Jesus for cleansing and renewal, you will have confidence not only in your relationship with God, you're going to have confidence in your life. Confidence comes from a clear conscience. And even further, when you're confident in God, you will be confident in life. Would you stay close to Jesus? Would you keep a clear conscience today? Because the world needs you to not only have a clear conscience, but to live confidently for the purpose that God made you for.